Welcome back, guys. My computer just froze there. I had to restart it, so we'll treat this as part number 2 of our list lesson. So we're just left with few things for us to cover. You remember in the previous video we were just adding or making a replacement of values at position 2, which was on list number 2. Position 2 becomes, okay, this is position 0, position 1. Position 2, we replace bananas with not a fruit, but apples with berries. So you will see even the results now. This is the desired results we're speaking about. Okay, so we're done with that part. The next one will be, how do you increase the list, right? So for us, in order to learn how to increase the list, let's pick a list first. So I will have my list number 3 and I want to increase it. So what you'll do, you will say go and insert a value. Let's say you wanna put 10 at the end of 8, right? So you can say go and insert a value, or put 0 in between 2 and 4. So between 2 and 4, the position there is position 1, and the value you wanna put is 0. And let's go and see the end results of this statement. So the list we are working with now is list number 3, and then when we run it, you can see between 2 and 4 we have now put the number 0, right? So basically that's how you will work with the insert. You can insert at any position, either in the beginning or at the end of your list. You can always insert any value and increase your list as you go. Okay, so there's also, because we're working with a list, there's also another way of adding values within our list. So let's pick, for example, the list for oranges. So we'll pick the list for weight containing fruit. It is list number 2, and then on this list we will want to press list.append. Append means that we are adding more values only at the end. So a list is almost like a stack. It will add that value at the very end. So what will happen now, if I add a new fruit, and this fruit will be calling what, cherry. So if we are calling a fruit cherry, and then we go now and say show me the results of my list number 3. In fact, it's list number 2 instead of 3. You can see that at the very end, where there was apple, we've now added cherry, right? So dot append means that we are adding something within our list. And then you have already seen the insert one. So the next one will be to extend. Now to extend a list, it's basically just adding 2 lists together. So let's go and add these 2 lists together. So let's say we're adding the list number 1 and list number 2 together, and we're gonna see the results, right? So let's say we're gonna put them in a new list, and this list we're going to call it, in fact, let's not add it to a new list. So let's increase list number 1. So list number 1, right, and we'll say dot extend, right? We're extending it with what? With list number 2. Okay, and then we're going to print out my list number 1 and see now what is the result of my list number 1. You can see now list number 1 is now bigger because we've extended it using list number 2. Okay, so we can always extend using anything, and it will allow us to increase the list within our any item on the list. So let's now work with removing something from the list. So let's say we now have many items within our list, and we want to remove them because we've already used them or something like that. So let's go remove maybe apples within our list. So that is list number 2. So my list on list number 2 dot remove, and you must mention what you are removing, and I want to remove apples because they have duplicates, and I also want to see the end results of removing this list. So this is my list number 2. There we go. So the first apples have been removed, but the other one has not yet been removed, right? So it only removed one apple within the list, right? That is very important to notice as well, to say only one apples have been removed in the list. So let's say we also wanted to see what happens if you repeat this statement. We'll remove the other apples as well. Let's see. There we go. So the first one removed the apple which was in between oranges and banana, but leaves out the last apple. The second one removes the last apple which was at the end, after bananas. Okay, so that's what you will do when you are removing an item in the list. The other method you can use is what you call pop. Remember, append works now with pop. So you can go and pop, but pop works based on position, right? So you must specify the index. So if I say my list number 2 pop 3, so there we go, dot pop at position 3, and let's go see what is the end results. My list number 2. There we go. The last apples have been removed because they are sitting at index number 3. So pop also works in the same manner as remove, just that pop works with a position that you want to remove that list from. The other one you can do is use the functionality called delete, right? So this delete, it's a straightforward word where you just mention the word deal, and then you mention the list. So you can say list, but you must still mention the position. So you can go and say at position 1 we are targeting the second apples now, and let's go and see the end results here. And let's see if I to delete. Indeed, it has deleted the apples which was in between oranges and bananas, right? The other thing that you can perform with delete is that you can easily go and delete the whole list. So you can say delete, let's say we don't like my list number 3, and then we just delete my list number 3, and later on we want to find out my list number 3, what does it contain. You can see that my list number 3 seems as if it no longer exists, although here it was existing, right? So if you want to see that it was existing before it was deleted, you can come and place this print statement here to see what will happen first. So you will see, first of all, my list number 3 prints as 2468, but then the last part is no longer, when we try to access it from here, it's no longer what identified because it has been deleted. So it deletes the whole container there for my list, right? So let's say you don't want to delete it. What would you do if you don't want to delete a list? Maybe you just want to remove all items. Maybe there are 1 million items in that list, but you don't want to delete the list. You want to be left with a list. So what you will do, you will say my list number 2 dot clear. All right, so dot clear, make sure that there is no what anything within your list, right? But your list still what exists. As you can see, we have removed all the fruits that we have there by using the dot clear method, but the list still exists, right? It has not been deleted. Very important to notice there. Okay, so for the second part, this is where we'll end. We'll continue this in our part 3 of list.